Folks, I'm just getting my day started, and I have a few more CDRs to go. I took all the ones that I did in the first video out, and I have some more of them. I'm going to try to go through them rather quickly, but you know, it's kind of nice to have some kind of more free stuff, more relaxed episodes. I was editing the other one, and I realized just how much silence is kind of in it, or just how little I talk just because I'm showing things, as opposed to talking consistently, the excessive cuts. So I've enjoyed doing these, and you know, they don't necessarily seem like, I don't know, it's different. I won't say it's worse than what a normal video is for me, but different. So I'm looking forward to going back to all the Rate Your Music activity that I had going on, talking more in depth about each specific album, as opposed to talking briefly about each album. So I'm going to make sure that this camera does not have glare. And go ahead and roll the intro. Looks a little better, folks, as long as I hold it over here. Superheroes Club, I just put this in here. So we're starting with the H section, but I threw a couple of these bad boys in here. I don't know why, but I love the way that the Comeback EP looks. I love putting all the, you know, comic book characters and things like that on the releases, and the just slight noisecore vibe. And it did have a noisecore vibe. It was just experimentations with making, you know, grindcore punk rock by yourself. And a lot of people do that, and I'm always impressed by it. There are a lot of artists that have just a DIY feel like they want to make releases that are black metal or grindcore or something like that, gore noise, and they just want to do it by themselves. And there's a very, very fun, diverse, deep settling of all those. And I don't necessarily think that any one release that is like this is gonna be something that's big or valuable to many people at all, but the collective growth and just the speed at which things evolve at this point in music is pretty incredible. And things are moving very fast, so there's so much for you when you go to listen to things, to find and to take from. You know, you have to listen to a lot in order to make one really good thing. Well, this is the kind of stuff that there is a lot of, and bigger, maybe more complex things are made from consuming all these. I don't necessarily think that that's a valuable release itself, but I just love the aesthetic, and I wanted to make something that wasn't necessarily, you know, sexploitation like a lot of gore noise and stuff is, or noisecore, or offensive. Really, it's just the most offensive thing is that the guy has a gun, you know. So and no literal gore either. So I thought that would be nice. Another thing that came out beautifully, I am really still pretty excited about the Mass Graven Image and Samira Arian's Mental Catharsis. But there was a time when the waters were a little bit more still. I absolutely love as well how this one came out, and I think that's why I wanted to release this. I just wanted to give it a shot and see how good I could get it. As you can see, my copy has a little bit of black and white there. The copies that are available online, and I don't believe any of them have sold. So the copies that are available online at anotherflesh.bandcamp.com are beautiful. They look good. Hailing Her Heavens, Accusations from Demonic Spirits in the Air. Obviously beautiful noise walls from Tremo, along with, this is the Oratio De Sanctum Michael. Okay, both Hailing Her Heavens releases. I would love to say that I had more of them. I know that there's the Contrite Heart split, and I went through maybe a couple actually on the last video, so that makes me not feel as bad. Also, we released Holy Death. This was on the Consecrated Subjection archive. And those have that little extra banner with the child breastfeeding on them. Very cool. Hailing for Heavens. Holy Death. I asked him, I said, for the Holy Death, I asked something about the Holy Death release, and he said, what? Is that one of your releases? Is that something that you're trying to put out? And I said, no, you released it like a week ago. He said, oh yeah, Holy this, Holy that. I know, I forget sometimes. And I was like, how do you forget something that you released so recently? You just forget the names of your albums. And, that's the core of overproduction. This is my release, and we're going to get into my releases because we're in the I section. Yori DeCoro, completely recent release. It has some hymns on it. That's why you see John Newton and Augustus Toplady, but there's also Wood's Mattress on it. So this is I regret a little bit, as I always do at the beginning when I first release something, and I've listened to it fresh. Some of the parts, I think I could have done a lot more with just the words like apricity and Kogarashi and Yori DeCoro. That's so rich in tone in this photograph. Alfred Stieglitz, who I should have, given credit to on the back with the cover, and I just did not even think about it. And he did another photo that I used for a cover as well. But public domain nonetheless. Beautiful, beautiful. It has so much emphasis, The Little Child. And there were so many things about this release. It being kind of folk-centered, folk first and noise after. I've done some folk, but it's noise first and folk after, like at Slavery, for instance. This really had a lot of poetic value. I think I could have done more with what I had, though, and I wish I would have spent just a good 2 years just putting that together. And I think I put it together quickly, and it hasn't had any immediate resonance or even purchases of the CD, so I do regret that a little bit. This is a release that, this is my version, without the banners. That's why I put GOH on the back. This is from Slavery. I definitely put the time and the hours and the power and the hour to Slavery, because there are so many different versions, to the point where I had to actually release Velvet as its own thing. Many of these pieces from this is a lot of field recordings, a lot of ambient, a little bit of noise, but it has kind of the dark ambient feel from Slavery, right? This is it unsaturated with anything else. And field recordings unsaturated with anything else, a spoken word. So I wanted to release this as its own thing. I don't know if there's still copies of this. You can definitely listen to it on Bandcamp. What happened was, with DistroKid, I was not able to release music that was just field recordings or had a lot of silence or had spoken word. They were giving me crap about that, and I wasn't able to put the record out. So, and it's also very long. So, Slavery itself is 4.5 hours. So this suite, I had to take a lot out of it, and then all that spoken word and field recordings and stuff like that. This is the Effectus Carnalis suite from that, mostly, and also some there are some tracks on Velvet that didn't make it all the way to Slavery. And it's kind of weird to me that I didn't put some of those out, because some of them seem very good. In Slavery itself, this has more music added to it. There's more layers of things. So Slavery, I kind of regret it, but Slavery stays a lot busier. It doesn't have a whole lot of quiet breaks. It doesn't have breaks from music quite like this did. It had noise sections, but harsh noise sections. It didn't have any really ambient parts. Talk about harsh noise. This is the most power electronics release that I've done, and that's because I did it with The Angel of the Enemy. It's also really leans toward black noise, and I think The Angel of the Enemy is a black noise artist. He was a black metal artist and started doing noise, so he goes into that direction. Really incredible artist, and he really, really taught me a lot. This was, I don't know if I put it out before I put out Slavery. I think so. Yeah, I think so. Because I had kind of gotten a hint of something that I wanted to work with. And that's another thing that I could have probably, Horsebath, I could have probably used it towards something bigger. But this was an awesome release, and I think a lot of people did like it. And it was my first noise release, first release on Gates of Hypnos, first release kind of in the community. And I said, well, I'm going to make a CD of it. And I did. Famish, Ivan Reich. Consecrated Subjection Archive, straight harsh noise. Well, it does have like blips in it. It goes bling every time, every few minutes, and you've heard those blips in my music, I'm sure. I am not at a point where I am comfortable releasing my music with all the blips in it, my noise. But yeah, unfortunately, I can talk a lot about my own releases, so I'm taking all kinds of time. Man Hates God. This was one of the first CDs I ever did. I was just trying to, make something to pass out to promote my music. And this is probably my most successful album to some degree. I've made the most money off of this, as opposed to any other release that I've done. And I did do a small handheld version. It's more than 80 minutes, so I couldn't put the whole thing on a CDR. So there is an alternate version of Missing Toy number 4, and I believe the intro. So this is Missing Toy, and there's an alternate version of number 4, which is a little bit better. It's remixed, so it sounds cool, kind of different. If you want something other than the regular Missing Toy suite, this is a different Missing Toy suite. Kind of crazy that I did a whole alternate version like that. It seems really out of character at this point, but when you have really long albums and you want to do a physical releases are beneficial. That's how you can do it. Fall Like Ixion. This has if you've seen the Ribera painting, Titius and Ixion, this is another one of his paintings. It's called Fall Like Ixion because the painting is the fall of Ixion, and I attribute that to our final words as our own. And this was released in the fall time, so with the painting originally, the original version of it, the Spotify and all that, was released during the fall time, when fall first started, maybe September, and I thought it would be fun because it looked like that, and this is the black and white version of it. Very fun to do. It looks cool. I thought that the way that it came out, like the stamped version of it, was cool. But I also you cannot really do better than those Ribera paintings. I don't claim at all that my alteration of the Ribera paintings looks better. But it was very classical, very warm feel, classical music and noise, my classic combustion that I like to do. Now, we should be done with my stuff. I apologize for boring you. If you wanted to see the gore noise, of course, of Inflamed Cunt Blisters. This is on, I want to say Rhino Fart, but I don't see it. No contact, no talent, no purpose, just gore. Spring of 21. And there's no, 4 out of 45 copies. What do you think you're going to do with 45 copies of a CDR? I wonder how much this is. This is Necrogue. A lot of stuff is released with nothing on it. Noise by Infestational Maggot. Infestation recorded. Oh, what? No, intestinal. Sorry, intestinal maggot infestation. Intestinal maggot infestation. Pustules of infected innards. Necrogue. This looks really good. I wonder if the disc is printed. I absolutely abhor the non-reusable sleeves. Why? Where you put, because this release is, it is printed disc. This release is it's a card, like it's floppy, like the 7-inch vinyl. It's floppy, so you have to have plastic over it. Oh, Kubatu Asparagus, probably the beast of CDR noise behind these walls. 10 copies each, no Skinny Jeans recording. I'll mention it if it's on another label. We went through Jakey Funeral on the 3-inch episode. He is a beast of the genre, and or of really the whole CDR scene. You know, Not of the Flesh has almost 100 releases, and most of them are at $4. So it's kind of crazy to see all this stuff happening, and we have made so many CDRs. It's like this. I could fill up a few of these things. It's pretty fun to do. I'm pretty pleased. Kubatu Asparagus, Power with Sins. See, this is a format that really does allow for something like noise to exist physically. And you kind of need something physical because it condenses the crazy amount of stuff that you would get online. You don't get away with releasing everything online either, you know, and you don't necessarily make money. So this is a good way. This is the trade. This is how the noise community operates in some fashion. A lot of artists do it with cassette tapes, but cassette tapes are expensive. You're looking at like $5 a $5 a tape, you know, while these are really, really cheap, and an artist like Kubatu Asparagus can release a noise release after a noise release, and it becomes something that's collectible, yet not... It's like collecting trading cards instead of collecting comic books. Right? I don't know. Not necessarily, actually. But yeah, you can really, for nothing at all, start making CDRs and have your own kind of little noise label. And you can also, for nothing at all, collect these, put just a giant thing together. And that's, I think, how I got so glued to it. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to have money to collect vinyl. I knew I wasn't going to have space to collect vinyl. I can, in fact, collect CDRs like this, though. DXPX and Kidney Stone. Okay, and DXPX for dermatofibrosarcoma protuberans is a lympholasia. And there's an email, and this is 15 copies, and this is Severed Nerve. Okay, Severed Nerve, he knows what he's doing. I believe that's Perloid that runs that. He knows what he's doing. I got this from buying from the lot of those. I mentioned that in the last full-size series CDR release. I got a bunch of his stuff before he stopped. Life is Suffering. This was bonus tracks for the cassette that we released from Bleed You Dry. 2026, that was this year. Whoa, it's been a long year already. Life is Suffering again. Feels good to feel good again. We got the fancy treatment for this release. Yeah. I didn't love using Kunaki. Might go back to it, you know, especially if things don't work out the same forever. Might go back to that. Lincoln, post-hardcore, or post-punk, 1992 to 1993. This is great stuff. I mean, this is not in the same region as a lot of the underground stuff. You know, this at one time was probably underground. Not anymore. This is a great record. I wanted to have it on Bandcamp. I figured if you're going to spend money on Bandcamp on a band that doesn't need it quite the same as the noise artists, get the CD. And it's 5x5, so I can put it into my collection with all these things. Marax, Seder Ritual split. What a great split. Marax was really great to work with. We also did Emily by Marax. Yeah, a lot of these are mine. This is a Mass Graven Image release, again, or very early on that we did this Radiant Brutalism. It does feel pretty good to have like the glossy, legit ones in here, but I don't like them as much as the sleeves. Makita, I missed this as well, this format. There's a back cover to this, and it looks really great. This one doesn't have it. straight white printable disc. Printable disc that is not printed on. Couldn't tell you what the artist's name is. All Gore Knives projected by Organ Slop in the Organ Slop. Rhino Fart Records, 21, fall 21. This is a complicated back. This is Severed Nerve and Fugazi working together. There's drama with Fugazi. Fugazi is not as big of a deal as it used to be. But let me tell you something. I don't get involved, and I'm not a Gore Noise guy, so I've got some CDs though. Pink Wool and Sado Rituals, another great Sado Rituals split on the Consecrated Subjection archive. Really cool. This is alternate art from the way they originally released it, and it looks sweet. It looks like a Moondog album. Perloid. And you know what? I'm going to go back to this. I'm not Orthodox. I love Reformed. As far I'm a Christian, yet I like Reformed, like the Puritans. The Puritans are my favorite. That's who I kind of look up to, right? He's a big Orthodox guy. And I don't appreciate the theology of Orthodoxy. I do appreciate worship, and I appreciate the art. You know, even Eastern, while I much prefer Western art, like as far as Gustave Doré as opposed to some of the Eastern. I know Perloid, I don't know who this other guy is. Regurgitation of Purulence, and of course this is straight up under Pearl. Oh, it's a Severed Nerve release, yeah. I thought he released some stuff like without a label, but I believe his label is Severed Nerve. Entering the Void, Phantasm Nocturnes. Phantasm Nocturnes is just one of these artists. It's amazing. Incredible. This came out great. It's a little bit more hi-fi, but I gave it the pencil look for the physical release. Pit of Spikes demo, 2012. Jake Simmons did the art. Not a big fan of that art, to be real with you. But I appreciate that he did it. And Bill Bile Foster is like a wrestler name, vocals, guitar, bass, drum programming. So it's an in-there release. I don't remember it. I know I did listen to it. Perloid Como Dentia. Alright, and this is a Severed Nerve release. Looks good. Perloid again. Oh gosh, that's so gross. Atomic Vomit. Plural. I've never known how to say Kidney Stone. Perloid and Kidney Stone. It's just like two different covers, basically. This does say the track listings. Wow, it looks bad. This is why he started a new label, because he just wanted a clean slate, I think. Some of these releases look rough. But he got there. Excremental Carnage Perloid split. Esophageal Traumatology and Fleabag and Perloid. So 3 artists? No, just Perloid and Fleabag as far as I see. Oh, that's their that's the name of the album. Sorry, I'm an idiot. These are not always named. UTIFSPC. Regurgitated Stoma Stew Productions. See, I never got a chance to show a lot of the CDRs that I built up. But, yeah, just keeping an eye on the Instagram. They're like, hey, I'm giving all my releases away for $1 each. Selling all my releases for $1. They're not giving it away. Don't let them trick you into thinking you're getting a good deal. They're worth $1, really. You're being very nice if you pay full price for CDRs. Yeah, but do you see the difference between all the Gore stuff and then just this, which I just feel captures a vibe that is needed? Maybe I should make more Subarus Club. I like my Contrite Hearts, though. I think that those are better for me and more productive. You tell me what we need to release, and you can buy stuff. This has stickers in it. Perloid and that artist. I love the teeny tiny stickers because, like, if you're putting stickers all over a trade box or whatever, you can put those in the spaces that you weren't able to get because the size of the stickers didn't work out for you. I like the look of this one. SARS. Got two. Severed Nerve. Perloid. This was Fermenting Sewage, the guy that runs it. When I first listened to this, was not pleased with it. And I still am not, but I felt bad because I talked to him about it. And, I mean, it's not something I'm used to, but to me it was too much metal, not enough noise. As a noise fan, I wasn't pleased with it. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm just listening to a metal release, a Gore Grind or whatever, and the mix was really bad. A decent mix would have done it a lot of good, but also noise. You don't need a decent mix if it's a noise release, but there was no noise. So I think a lot of people think of Gore Noise as crappy grind, and that's why Gore Noise is just not good noise music. You know, there's some Gore Noise that's good grindcore noise grind, right? Noise grind, but incredibly uncommon. A lot of times they're just putting crap together that's lazy, and you have to pass by that. There are some artists that are really innovative and interesting. I mentioned Phila Medusa on a recent episode, or actually made an episode about Phila Medusa. Very pleased with that. Alright, so this has gone on for 30 minutes. I got through another fat stack, and I think I'm going to have just one more fat stack getting through these. So I thank you so much. Listen to my releases on Spotify and on YouTube, and keep watching the channel, like and subscribe. I knew that I started off not worrying about how the channel was doing and just making it. Starting to get excited about likes and like subscribers. I think it's at 240 now, so I usually don't even address it, you know, because it's just like, okay, well. But the channel's been growing, so I really appreciate all the support on this. It's not easy to do, but once you do something for long enough, you'll start to see results, I suppose. Sometimes I'm tempted to either quit doing it or take another approach, but I like the consistency of this, and I've been doing it for a while, and it's just kind of a breezy thing to go through physical releases. But honestly, I have a lot more fun, and Noise Live is a lot more beneficial to me if I'm actively talking about what I think of this album and that album and the other album. It benefits my listening, and it benefits your listening probably too. But I have to show these things. I don't want to get rid of anything. I could stand to get rid of a lot of Gore Noise stuff out of this. Don't want to get rid of anything without, like, documenting it, because I want to at least remember when I did have all that Gore Noise stuff. Say, oh wow, yeah, I used to have all that. I can prove it, right? Like when Perloid is a legend and everybody's like, do you actually have a Perloid CDR? I'll be like, yeah. I used to. I don't anymore, but maybe not. I don't know. Perloid put a lot of stuff out, but yeah. Maybe butane, right? Butane's not a thing anymore, but I love the butane, the way the butane releases look. So, all right. Godspeed. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the album's reference section. It's not necessarily stuff that was in this video, but it's stuff that I have talked about and stuff that I maybe should have talked about. Plenty of this type of music if you want to easily find just something related to what we talk about here, and a recommended video if you want to keep watching me. Listen to music. Go to Rate Your Music. Rate stuff. Godspeed.